Good morning, guys. I've got the some answers for you for the prediction of where I think Bitcoin and stocks will go. A lot of people are asking me, Dan, is this it? Is this the floor? Is it going lower? What's going on here? So I'm going to give you a little bit of deeper insight this morning of where I believe Bitcoins and crypto in general will go, where some of the centralized exchanges will go and what they're going to be doing, what the decentralized platform is going to do. And I encourage you to get your pen and pads out. And one thing that's really important is please share this video so we can help more people out there, because I'm getting hundreds of DMs of what we should do here. So just some breaking news. Obviously, you guys have seen cryptocurrencies drop like crazy. And this morning you saw the stock market open massively lower as well. And I know a lot of you guys are having anxiety, your hearts are pounding, and you're wondering, where are my stock investments going? Where's my retirement going? Where's my 401k going? Where's my brokerage account going? Where's my crypto portfolio going? Can I get my money out of centralized exchanges? There's so many questions that you guys have. So I would encourage you to invite your friends on here so I can give you an update. First, to give you my background here, for those of you that are new, I built the largest Bitcoin mining facility in 2014 in our state of Utah. I have a company, PC Laptop Sidex. I've been in tech for a while. I sit on Intel's board of advisors for 15 years and just have a lot of experience with crypto. I love crypto. It's great. And I love stocks as well. But as you guys know, I'm going to talk about real estate as well too, because that's something I've been very passionate about. But first, if you've watched my videos for the last few years, if you watched my first video back in 14, I think I told you guys that Bitcoin would hit over 50,000 by 2021, and that came to pass. But you also saw my video when Bitcoin was like 65,000 that we were going to see an imminent correction, which we've taken. And so I'm going to give you really the roadmap ahead. Okay. So as far as it goes, Binance, if you saw my stories, freezed withdrawals. Celsius has freezed withdrawals as well. Someone messaged me, one of my whale friends, oh man, BlockFi has done some restrictions as well. And what does that mean to you? Well, to give you a large picture of how big the market is as far as cryptocurrency itself, it's very small. It's less than $1 trillion today, which gives you an idea of how big this is. To give you a metaphor, that's smaller than like Apple right now and smaller than Amazon. So really all of crypto put together is smaller than one of those companies, which is actually very, very small. Now, there's two ways that you can control your crypto. You can be on a centralized exchange, and Binance, obviously Celsius, and there's BlockFi and a bunch of different other ones. If you have a centralized exchange, you don't control the keys to your crypto. So the exchange controls all your money. And just like a bank, when you deposit into a bank, the bank controls really your money in there. They can freeze withdrawals. If you look historically, when there was like a bank run, that means that like people got scared, like during the Great Depression, and they tried to take all their money out of the bank. A lot of banks froze it up so you couldn't take withdrawals because of all the treasury, all their money in storage got taken out. That bank run could cause a major collapse of that financial institution. And we've seen a lot of financial institution collapses over the years. The FDIC has FDIC insurance. The federal government, started this to give people some assurance that their money, in case there was a bank run, would be protected by the federal government in a certain manner. You guys can Google that kind of stuff. But with crypto, there is no government protection in. You saw the president did a executive order to help, get all the different departments focusing on researching crypto and how to help regulate this. You've seen my videos about the US digital dollar that's going to be released, I believe, no matter what in the future. When does that happen? Could be a year, could be 2 years, could be longer, but that'll make a mass adoption into there. Now, to give you an idea of how long I've been doing crypto, I've seen in my portfolio 80% plus crashes. 80% plus crashes. To give you an idea of one of the first early ones, Bitcoin went up to like $1,700. I was in it like a little over $100, $120 in that range. And I went to like 1,700 and then it dropped down to like $120 again. So that was like more than 80%, close to 90% drop. So for this, I feel like I'm reliving a little bit of that correction, and we made it, through that correction. We've seen a big run up to over 20,000 and then in the 3,000 range before. So this is cyclical. This is not out of the ordinary. The stock market, again, we've seen huge corrections, over 50% almost before. So this is totally normal. What's causing this is all that money printing, and I talked about this in previous videos, all the money printing, about 40% of American dollars, I think even more, were printed in the last few years of all the monetary supply. Again, they handed out all this free money to everybody, made everyone lazy for a couple of years. Not everybody, a lot of you guys I know are hard workers, but it made a lot of people lazy. People increased their spending. They DoorDashed everything. They subscribed to everything like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime and all this kind of stuff. And they got really used to having free money to like calm their minds during the pandemic, right? And now they're not getting that free money. And all that free money that got pumped into the monetary system is actually trickling up, which is kind of funny, to all the billionaires, the oil companies, and the large corporations as well. They say, if you gave someone who wasn't economically educated a huge amount of cash, let's say, $1 million or something, that would eventually, if you could do that to every American, in fact, that was like in the lower income level, that would all trickle back up to the billionaires, because the billionaires create production and commerce and things people want to buy and offer value and services. And so it always trickles back up there again. It doesn't matter how much free money you give people if they're not economically educated. And I think that's why you guys are watching this video here. So let me get a little bit to some of the education here. And this is where you can get your pen and pad out here. This is a macroeconomic situation, meaning crypto's price adjustment's not caused because of just crypto. It's caused, again, because we printed all this money and inflation has gone up significantly. It's all about supply and demand. If you print a bunch of dollars, it's going to be worth less. Our purchasing power now for the dollar is just deteriorating at an incredible rate. And that's why you're seeing the price of goods and everything, go up. It's easy for the government to scapegoat and say, hey, this is all 100% the fault of the Ukraine situation and supply situations. And I get messages all the time of people with all these excuses of why, that's causing everything. But it's not that. It's simply just the money printing and causing people to be non-productive and having fear during that, pandemic era, which, changed people's habits and work ethic. Now, for those of you out there that are super Jedi warriors, which are most of you guys and girls watching this, I know you guys, the majority of you worked really hard during that time. Well, now is the time you're going to have to triple your efforts. If you're a salesperson, if you're a business owner, you need to really triple your efforts and offer extra value to your customers. You need to reach out to your employees, and some of them are, maybe nervous or scared because their retirement is, investments are dwindling a little bit. You need to let them know to stay the course, though. Because if you think about it, if the market is at a 50, 60% correction, 70% for crypto, let's just say, and stocks maybe half almost over like the major peaks for many tech stocks, any dollar that does get invested and deployed into those is that much more powerful, because all-time highs will actually be reached again, I believe, eventually. And Warren Buffett said, really is if you believe in America, as a whole, then you're gonna, really bet on America, right? And I think out of every country that's out there, America probably has one of the most compelling futures of any country out there. It's easy for us to, do business here compared to any other country out there. A lot of people I hear say, oh, I want to, leave this country. It's so bad and all that. try living in China right now, and see how it is. Try living in some parts of like Mexico and see how it is, and in even different parts of Europe or in Africa. Look, we have it really good here in America, and we have more opportunity than ever. So really, your best defense is to go on the offense now, And one thing that's important, when I see market corrections, obviously, even though I've been through a few cycles, it's still emotionally swaying to see, oh, wow, I've lost X number of dollars this morning. But what you can do is this, though. I want you guys to focus on not creating a lot of new debt for yourself. This is really important. A lot of times to make ourselves feel better, we go out and we spend tons of money on different things, or vacation, or YOLO, like crazy, and do these kind of things to give ourselves a temporary fix. Well, now's the time to, really reinforce your house. If you're planning a bunch of vacations you're going to spend a ton of money on, I would postpone that, because you want as much ammunition as possible to be able to move into different positions as opportunity, happens. Now, if you have a lot of debt right now, I would not ape into stocks or crypto or anything like that. Now, you want to have at least a 6-month operating cash buffer. And I'm going to tell you in a second here, like when I believe that the market will actually make its recovery. And let me just tell you right now, as we go into midterm elections, you're going to, again, I think I've talked about this before, you're going to see the markets rally, because I believe the government will do things to goose the market, right, to give a positive sentiment into the next election cycle. So you're probably looking about September, October. That's where right before that you're going to probably see most of the pain hit its plateau, and then you're going to see kind of a rise up. And I bet you by Christmas time, everyone's going to be feeling pretty jolly about this whole environment, though. But the toughest thing that a lot of people have in their brains, and it's tough for me too, guys, so I'm with you on this, is like we say to ourselves, man, let's just go all cash, be safe, sell everything. I wouldn't sell everything. Now, if you need to make yourself feel better and sell things to have a little bit of cash buffer, that's actually, not necessarily a bad idea if you need that to survive. But I wouldn't dump everything to zero. Because again, I've seen a lot of friends during the last few corrections, let's say they had, 200 grand saved up, or $1 million, or whatever that number is, it doesn't matter. But if let's say 200 grand dropped to 100,000 in value, I've seen them take that 100 grand, completely go to cash, take that 50% loss, and then just sit there paralyzed for 2, 3, 4 years, totally traumatized and PTSD from the loss. And then the market runs way up, and then they repeat the cycle. They buy when it's high again because they feel confident, and then the next correction cycle happens, and then they do it again and again and again and again. Now, what I do just to help keep my brain, feeling sane, is if I have debt obligations, again, I try to work extra hard, make sure I pay those all down to zero. So like, just for example, I'm a business owner. A lot of you are business owners. My goal was to get our huge millions and millions of dollars of inventory. My goal is to get our bank lines practically to zero, though. So during the huge inventory demand cycle of this big boom when the government printed all the money, I got together a huge amount, tens of millions of dollars, to increase that inventory level to be able to supply consumer demand. And that actually required some very low cost debt. It was really smart to be able to borrow money under 3% to be able to bring that up, right? But again, tapering off since the things started opening up, my idea was to bring all debt down to almost zero. And this applies with anything. For cars, I think it's very critical. But again, because those are your buffers. Now, those of you that have not opened a HELOC, home equity line of credit on your home right now, that is a great super safe buffer. So let's say you own a home and it's worth $1 million or 500,000 or whatever it's worth. Most of the banks will let you borrow up to 75% of that equity that you have in your home, sometimes more. Now, why that's a good thing is, let's say you have a home. Let's just take an even number of $1 million. Let's say you could have a $750,000 credit line, and right now the interest rates are 3 to 4% on HELOCs, at least through my bank there. Some of them are higher. It depends on your credit and stuff and your relationship with them. But the cool thing is, if you did have a mega emergency, you can tap that credit line. That credit line is not there for you to borrow money against and go on some vacation to the Turks or something like that and put the YOLO thing and all that together. That is burning money. Okay. Now, I want you to also get another concept about durable and non-durable goods though when you're buying things. Okay. When I buy things, for example, like right now, I'm still taking delivery on some Porsche, brand new Porsche GT3s and Lambo STOs. And you're like, Dan, why would you take delivery of that in a terrible economy? Because the demand cycle is still up, whereas, those are investments in my mind. So if I buy, a Porsche GT3 for 200,000, even in a down market, I could flip that and make 50 grand in just a minute, on that, or 100,000 if the right buyer's out there. Same thing with Lamborghini STOs and things like that. A lot of the mid-range cars and stuff that have had huge high demand that you see, like those Dodge TRX, Ram TRX trucks and things like that. That kind of stuff is not, and Broncos and things like that. They're not going to be pulling those kind of numbers though, because that's more of a middle-class person's product. But again, when we talk about the money flowing to the really wealthy people, they still want all the crazy exotic stuff. And this correction, it bums them out just like everyone else, but they still have tons of money and they will still buy the things that they want to buy. A lot of people ask me about gold and silver and all that. Remember, this is a macroeconomic problem. So stocks and crypto are both mirroring the pain. And if you've looked, silver is actually very, very soft right now. Gold has been hanging out a little under $2,000 as well. So I wouldn't go, crazy on that. A lot of people have asked me, should I buy a lot of guns and ammo? Look, I love Second Amendment freedom and owning a lot of that kind of stuff. You should have enough ammo as almost like food storage, right? I mean, you shouldn't go crazy, but get a few good cases of that. I go to ammoman.com because it's really easy. It gets delivered to your house. I think everybody should have a good quality rifle and pistol in their food storage area to be able to protect your family and stuff like that, and maybe a few extras around because the world is crazy. So yeah, I'm a big proponent of that. As far as all the gun control stuff, I think you're going to see the government compromise a little bit. Yeah, they'll probably increase background check scrutiny. Maybe there's some age limits up to 21, maybe not, and those kind of things. Though I don't think that the country as a whole is going to be completely disarmed. I don't think people are going to allow that to happen, and I don't think it should happen. But they are probably going to do more mental health, addressing issues with that, and background checks. But those of you that have ever bought Class 3 weapons or like suppressors and things like that, you guys know there's immense federal background check, and you have to pay the ATF a registration, to buy certain things and stuff like that. And so the level of scrutiny, I think, will go up on who can own what, but I don't think there'll be, an overall ban on things like that, at least for now. Okay, so here's your action item, guys. Just a few things. I'm just going to give you a few things here. One, I want to make sure you have that cash buffer of 6 months, okay? If you need to sell a little bit to make sure you have that cash buffer, that's okay. I wouldn't recommend dumping everything and going completely zero exposure, I think that is foolish. If you have tons of cash and tons of money, great. I'm proud of you for building up that little bit of a buffer. I think the buying opportunities will probably on a broad market be happening September, October, maybe a little bit before. Doesn't hurt to dollar cost average and trickle in a little bit. Only deploy into the market right now, which you would not freak out if it dropped massively even more, like another 50% or something like that. Like if you're cool with that, then there you go. That's one of your big action items. How low will Bitcoins go? Well, if you take the high down to the last previous hugest correction of my career, you're talking Bitcoins around 14 grand, or so like that. But that would be mirroring previous history. Who knows? It could even go lower than that. Or it may hit a stabilization point, maybe around 20s or something, or maybe we've hit it. I don't know. But again, be prepared for even more corrections there. Another action item, if you're working, like right now, if you're not working, go to work. If you're working somewhere, don't be job hopping right now because there's going to be major layoffs happening. All the companies are going to adjust their balance sheets and they're going to fire all the people that they hired and overpaid during the pandemic just to get workforce. And then they're going to rehire them at half the wage. So that's simply what's going to happen. So I wouldn't be like job hopping too much. If you're an entrepreneur, like really double your efforts of making sure internally your processes are running correctly and you're really taking the best care of your customers and employees as possible right now, and encourage them to be a positive force. If you're stressed out because your investment positions are weird and wonky, don't go into work all like ornery and stuff like that and spreading negativity. Only have positive engagement because that's what you need to. You got to keep all your people in that right momentum of positivity. And then finally, I know this video has been a little bit long, but I just want to give you as much as I can in my heart to help you. Please share this on your social media, because if I've gotten hundreds of messages just this morning from these type of questions they wanted answered, all your friends are probably thinking the same thing in family of like, what do I do? Oh my gosh. So share this right now on your social media. Guys, get out there and just do absolutely your best. Learn from your mistakes. And if you need anything, I'm always here to answer any questions for you. All right. I love you guys. Go get it.